Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and we're turning our attention now to the Riverland Football League. Ben Venning's on the line with me to have a look back at last week's prelim final. How's it going, Beaver?
Yeah, good, Dan. How are you, mate?
Going well, thank you. Not an ideal result for the Magpies last weekend. Renmark getting over the top of Waikerie in the prelim final. So Renmark have booked their grand final ticket against Barmera Monash. 7 goals, 10-52 to 5-5-35. A low-scoring game there at Renmark, and the home team just too good in the end.
Yeah, no, they were. It was a good contest right up to half-time. I think we were 3 points down at half-time, 3-6 and 3-3. And, the boys were in it. Obviously, Renmark had a couple more scoring shots, but we certainly looked like we could go with them. And then that third quarter, we didn't score, and they kicked away. They kicked a couple of goals, up 3 points, and got a 3-goal lead at half-time. And, I think we played it right in that last quarter to come back a little bit and get a couple of goals. And then they steadied late, kicked a couple, and that was a stealer. And, yeah, unfortunately for us, game over. And I think that's the first time since 1986 since we haven't had a Waikerie side on grand final day. So there's a stat for you, but, yeah, not a good result for our club. But, so the Renmark boys go through, and they were well led by Matty Walford on his wing, his left foot. He set him up there a lot of the time going forward. Nick Gillard was sensational at forward. He was second best. Jake Anspach was good across half-back. Zach Garcher in the ruck had a great year, and I'll touch on him in the Willis medal in a minute. Mitchell Jenke and Jared Rowe, they were better players. And I guess a couple of guys that didn't get in there, but I thought they played quite well as well, was the young white boys who have been playing a bit down at West Adelaide. And they certainly stepped up on the day and played some good footy too. So, some good young ones coming through there for Renmark. For us, Stevie Hawser did his best. Vice captain out in the wing. Tristan Geeman across halfback had a good game. Repelled a lot of the ball and kept us in it a lot of the time. Jared Beath for the midfield and forward had a good game. Benny Smith in the midfield was good. Lukey Exton down back in the back pocket. Without Lukey, I'm sure they would have scored a few more goals. So well done to Lukey. And Brad Berg in the ruck tried his best all day. But yeah, look, that was too good, mate. Goal kickers for them. Gillard with 3, probably could have had a couple more. Ricky Garrett 1, Declan Johnson 2, and Lucas White with 1. And for us, Cade Hilton with 1, Lockie Nitschke 1, Byron Sumner had a good game, but kicked 3. He came to us. He wasn't even going to play for us at the start of the year. He came to us right at the end and a bit unfit, and probably didn't play his best footy that we were hoping to get out of him, but he finished up with 3 goals, which is nice. So, but yeah, Renmark through the grand final against Barmera.
Well, that's an incredible streak for Waikerie, having someone in the grand final every year for nearly 40 years. Unfortunately, it's coming to an end, but I do appreciate you sharing that stat, and it's hard to get someone into the grand final when Barmera have dominated the grand final appearances through all the grades and age groups, which they have this year. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but what you love to see in finals footy is star players stepping up, and I think it looks like we saw that pretty well in this game between Renmark and Waikerie. The usual suspects amongst the best players and the goal kickers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, look, it was a good game, ding-dong battle, and, like I said, I thought we had them there at half-time. I thought, we're in this game, and, their better players stood up in that third quarter. I think Josh Vader probably had his best quarter of the game in that third quarter, and really set them up, their coach, and obviously he leads by example, and knew that they had to lift, and, he certainly set the tone, and, it was his best quarter by far. And, look, for us, Cade Hilton, he probably had his quietest day for the year. We'll talk about him in a minute when it comes to the Willis. But, I think finals pressure is a different game of footy, and we didn't quite handle it as well as Renmark, and they deservedly go through to a grand final.
Let's talk about Cade Hilton right now, the league medalist, which is extraordinary for someone of his age, and you did have the medal count over last weekend. So who else was up there in the medal count? And how excited must Waikerie be to have Cade Hilton on side for the next however many years? It's, some might say the end of an era with no Waikerie sides making a grand final this year, but with him on side, it certainly won't be long before there's at least one more team back on grand final day.
Yeah, hopefully you're right, mate. Cade's is a 19-year-old, so I think he's only the third 19-year-old to win it in the history. So, I don't think an 18-year-old's won it before, as far as I know. So, pretty good effort at 19 to win a league medal. Went down to West season, didn't quite find his feet down there, and he's come back and certainly slotted into our team. And played some fantastic footy, and he won on 20 votes. Runner-up was Tim Walford from Renmark. He had 17. And then Zach Gartrey, Renmark's ruckman, he finished in third on 15, which, I guess for a ruckman, you don't see many ruckmen poll that well these days, and it's good to see him be recognised because he's a state country ruckman and, plays some very good football. So well done to him. But, for us, it's exciting that Cave's won it. And, hopefully keeps that form going in for many more years for the Waikerie Footy Club.
Well done to Cade Hilton, an extraordinary achievement. And just as a little side note, great to see some recognition for the ruckmen as well. They have the hardest job out there on the ground, certainly the most physical, and like you said, too often they're overlooked. But let's look forward to this weekend's grand final. It's Renmark and Barmera Monash. As we said, they were the top two sides all year. They played some great games against one another, including in the first week of finals where Barmera Monash won by just 3 points a couple of weeks ago. How do you see this one going, Beaver?
Oh, it's a tough one. That second semi a couple of weeks ago, Renmark kicked straight and they win the game. They certainly had more scoring shots and more inside 50s and, had their opportunities and wasted them. And, Barmera made the most of them when they had the opportunities and kicked straight and they win the game. So, it's a tough one, mate. Barmera could have been off that day. The stars for Barmera, John O'Beach, good luck to whoever goes to him. He's a great player and has dominated our league this year when he's played. He's probably only played 10, 12 games, so he hasn't played all season, but he has certainly played some great footy. So it'll be interesting to put there, whether it's a Tim Blight, whether it's a Brody Rover, Harry Beavis, not sure. But, that's going to be a key one for them. And, you flip it around, and Nick Gellar's been in great form for Renmark too. They're leading goal kicker of the comp. Barmera will have to pick him up and try and quieten him down. The midfield will be interesting. The likes of Sam Butterworth up against the Vaders and the Wolfords, obviously key players for Renmark. It'll be interesting to get some top there in the ruck. You got Gartrey obviously coming third in the medal, up against some guys that have played league footy before. Chris Bonney, come back this year after quite a stint, and he's been handy for Barmera. Obviously, Mason Middleton in the ruck also. He's played at West Adelaide, played a lot of centre-half forward, but when he goes in the ruck, he's got great tap work and, he's a big body. So that'll be an interesting duel. So who can get on top in the midfield will obviously help, and who can probably stop the goal scorers at either end. But, I guess you want to tip, and, you could tip a corner, I reckon. But I'll go with Barmera. Obviously won the premiership last year. I'd say they've got a younger side, so, maybe they can overrun Renmark with a bit more fresh legs and, obviously having a week off helps. So, I'll stick with Barmera, I think, to win this and go back-to-back, which they haven't done for a long time.
Tips in for Barmera, but it looks like it'll pretty much be a toss of the coin. They're both such dominant sides, and interestingly enough, this is going to be the sixth time they play this year. They played in the first and the last round, and they've played in a final already. So we had Renmark by 35 points in round 1, Barmera Monash by 26 points in round 6, and then in round 11, Barmera Monash by 6 points, round 16, Barmera Monash by 28, and the first week of finals, Barmera Monash by 3. So it's been all Barmera Monash since that first one, but they've all been really good games, and the coaches have certainly had plenty of chances to scout out the other team and put a good game plan in place. So this is going to be a great grand final. Beaver, just before you go, looking through the B grade and beyond as well, we've got Loxton and Barmera Monash in the B grade, Barmera Monash and Berry in the under-18s. And then in the under-15s, it's Barmera Monash and Renmark. And in the mixed under-13s, we've got Loxton and Barmera Monash. So I'm saying the words Barmera Monash so much that they're starting to lose all meaning. They don't even sound like real words anymore. But what a season for that footy club.
Yeah, look, they've had a cracker. Their club's in a really good spot at the moment. And, obviously having 5 teams in the grand finals are fantastic, isn't it? I think it's late 80s since Barmera's been able to do that. So, that's magnificent for their club, and they're in a really good spot at the moment. And well done to them and their committee and everyone who's driving it, and obviously their A-grade coach, Fraser Sampson. So, I think their 13s will struggle to win. So I think Loxton might win that one. I think Barmera will win the 15s, more than likely win the 18s. The B-grade, I believe, Barmera have been undefeated and then got knocked off in that second semi by Loxton. So Loxton are a good side. They lost the premiership last year. So that could go either way. I think Barmera will be younger legs, so that might help them. But, It's going to be a big day. Yeah, I mean, if Barmera can win all 5 flags, imagine being the Barmera Footy Club on Saturday night. Should be a pretty big show, I reckon.
Would be a massive show if they can go 5 for 5, and even if they don't, I'm sure it will be a big night celebrating a very successful season. Beaver, thanks very much for that. Enjoy the action this weekend. Good luck to everyone taking the field for Grand Final Day in the Riverland Footy League, and Beaver will get your wrap-up of it all next Friday. Looking forward to it.
Talk to you then, Dan. Cheers, mate.